Hey everyone, this is Joe with Southeastern Frontiers, and today I'm hiking on Rainbow Mountain. I'm doing the Rainbow Mountain and Jammuku loop. I think I'm pronouncing that right. That adds a little extra distance to the my normal Rainbow Mountain loop that I usually do, and that I've done before. I'll put a link to that up above and down in the description. But off we go. The Rainbow Mountain Nature Preserve is nestled almost in the heart of the city of Madison, Alabama, but despite the urban setting, the nature preserve feels isolated and wild. I started this hike at the parking area on the top of Rainbow Mountain and hiked around the trails in a clockwise direction, which saves the best parts for last. To add some distance to today's hike, I added the Jammuku loop trail to my regular Rainbow Mountain loop trail route. The trail starts off dropping down rapidly the side of the mountain, going around the Jammuku loop until we get to the bottom at Spring Creek Crossing. Good to rest here. Then we ascend back up the mountain, coming up to the ridgeline where the balancing rocks can be found. The rock formations here are amazing. Take the time to explore them. Finally, I returned to the trailhead after passing by a cell phone tower that was testing its noisy backup generator as I went by. It was a beautiful summer morning for a short hike near home. All right, here we are at the trailhead, and we are starting out. Right near the start of the trail is a playground, so that's always fun. There's a swing here, and several trails strike out from here. We're going to go to the left, and I like to go around this loop clockwise, and so we're going to take this route. And we're going to follow the Rainbow Mountain Loop Trail. And there's a cicada on the post. Look at that. You see it? How about that? He's a little cold this morning. Doesn't want to move. It's alive though. All right. Heading down the trail. The first part of this trail starts off as an easy but steady downhill, and then I think we're going to get into some rocks and do some boulder hopping. Yeah, here's that the boulders I was talking about. So here we have to climb down some rocks, so watch your step. It can be a little challenging. There are multiple paths through the rocks. This is where my staff comes in very handy. I can help balance myself going down these rocks. Got a branch in the trail here. The spring trail goes off to the right, but we're going to stay to the left on the Rainbow Mountain Loop Trail. We have come to another Y in the trail. The main Rainbow Mountain Loop Trail descends steeply downhill that way. And then there's another trail that goes a little bit uphill off to the left. That is the Jammuku Trail to the left, and that's the one we're going to take today. It adds a little distance to the normal Rainbow Mountain Loop Trail and is much less often traveled. So we're going to check it out. Jammuku starts off a little rocky right off the bat. There's a pretty lone flower lit by the morning sun this morning. A bench to rest on. It's mostly been downhill so far. I don't need a bench yet, but going up the other way, it does get steep. We are almost to the furthest point out on the Jammuku loop, so that should be the next milepost. All right, we have reached the furthest out point on the Jammuku loop, and
we'll be heading back over to the main Rainbow Mountain Loop. So that's off that way. Off we go. This segment, returning to the Rainbow Mountain Loop, is more cruisy, smoother than the segment I took going out. So I'm making better time, that's for sure. Most of Rainbow Mountain, like most of the other mountains in north central Alabama, are made of approximately 300 million year old limestone. The top of Rainbow Mountain, like again a lot of the mountains around here, is capped by a layer of sandstone. However, we're deep in the limestone layer here, but I noticed a bit of coral reef sticking out here. You can see the irregular rocks and the otherwise gray limestone. Often you'll find really nice pieces of coral here. I don't see one right handy, but if I find one, I'll show it to you. All right, we have returned to the Rainbow Mountain Loop Trail, a little downhill where we left it, and we continue downhill that way. Lots of downhill to go and then lots of uphill. We have reached the lowest point on the Rainbow Mountain Trail. This is where we cross Spring Creek, which during middle of summer here doesn't have much water running in it, but there's a trickle down there. And because we have had some rain recently. Otherwise this is often dry in the summer. But down here we cross over, and from this point on it's all uphill. After doing an initial uphill, I'm cruising along on my way to the most distant point on the Rainbow Mountain Loop Trail. It's leveled out now for a bit, and then I think it will go back up steeply again, because we got to get all the way back to the top of the mountain. We have reached where there's a sign up there that says boundary, leaving land trust property. And up here it says the Rainbow Mountain Loop Trail goes up, and it says exit is that way. So now we climb back up again. We have crested the top of the ridge, so now it's a much more gentle, slow climb up to the top of the mountain, and it is easy and cruisy, and I'm glad to have made it. That's quite a climb up from down at Spring Creek, but well worth the trip. I didn't see any amazing fossils when I was climbing up, but I was distracted. It's starting to get warm, so I didn't spend a lot of time poking around. But there are bunches of them along that stretch. Just keep your eyes peeled, especially a lot of coral and cryonids. I'll let you know if I see anything along here. We are almost to the first balancing rock. You can see it up there actually. But along this part of the trail where the rocks are flat that you're walking across, people have worn them smooth with their shoes, which actually makes it easy to see some really nice fossils. If you look here, you can see lots of little crionid fossils. There are these little round discs that are all over in this. And then right here is what's called a blastoid. So there's a bunch of them in here. Here's a really nice blastoid lit by the sunlight this morning. That's very cool. Oop, dropped my stick there. But yeah. And there's a little crionid right next to it, right here, laying on its side. Yeah, the more you look, the more you see. I see cryonids now all through this rock. Very cool. So prior to this, all the rocks we've seen are limestone. We have now reached the boundary where the rocks ahead of us are all sandstone. There's a sandstone cap on top of this mountain. That's partly why it's here. The sandstone doesn't erode as quickly as the limestone does, and so it forms a cap that keeps the mountain in place. So now things change. The types of plants change a little bit. Everything's going to be sandy from eroded sandstone. So we're walking along what once was an old beach long ago. So this is the first of the two famous balancing rocks on Rainbow Mountain. Very cool. Just kind of precariously sitting there on these big limestone slabs. Sorry, sandstone slabs. Oh yes, and here you can see under the balancing rock, you see the ripples? These were the ripples on the shore of that ancient ocean where this beach was. Is that not cool? I think that's amazing. You can almost see the water splashing with ripples like that. Over here, this rock makes a nice little overhang. You could get out of the rain here if you had to. It's very cool. You can follow a trail along the cliff side here, but this time of year it's quite overgrown in weeds, and the ticks have been bad this year, so I'm not going to venture it. I'm going to go back around and go up on the wider path on top. Technically, the Rainbow Mountain Loop Trail went off to the right just there, but I'm taking the Balance Rock Trail to see the other, more spectacular balancing rock. And I love this tree. It's very cool. Exploring all these little rock side passages is just fun. No doubt about it. Even you don't have to be a kid to experience how fun this is, going through all these little side passages. So we are still on the Balance Rock Trail. Oh, look at this. It's the Land Trust Hug Me tree. Very cool. Nice. I guess I'll have to do what it says. Sweet. All right, just past the Hug a Tree is the second and most spectacular balancing rock on Rainbow Mountain. You can kind of see it down there. It is precariously balanced on not very much. Yeah, you can maybe see it better over here. There you go. Check that out. Isn't that cool or what? It will be a sad day when that falls. Go a little bit more along here. See if we can see another view of it. It's quite a drop off here, so watch your step. Yeah, too many leaves on the trees. You really can't see it very well, but it's back there. Time to return to the parking lot. I hear machinery, so we're not too far away. I don't know if that's a garbage truck or what, but yeah, we're pretty close to the parking lot. Had I went around this counterclockwise, I would hit all these cool things first, but then I wouldn't have any reason to climb all that altitude. So that's why I like to do it this way. Leaves a reward at the end where I appreciate it. All right, this takes us back down to the parking lot. And the heavy noise is the diesel generator for the cell tower that's on top of the mountain. That's what I was hearing. So now we just descend a little way back down to the parking lot. Well, this has been a fun day on Rainbow Mountain. Beautiful weather for midsummer. Not too hot yet anyway. It'll get that way later today probably. Gotta watch where I'm going here. I'm going down the hill here. It's been a fun hike today, and I'm glad you came along.